ConfluxScan is the official blockchain explorer for Conflux Network. It's a tool that lets you explore and analyze everything happening on the blockchain. When you first open ConfluxScan, you'll see the main dashboard with information about both the proof-of-work layer and the proof-of-stake layer. You can see details about epochs, block numbers, the number of accounts, transactions, contracts, block time, and hash rate. This information is valuable if you want to analyze the tokenomics of CFX, track emissions, or understand network adoption through metrics like active accounts and transaction volume. The dashboard shows important metrics for both layers. For the proof-of-stake layer, you'll see the total stake, average APY for staking, the latest voted block, current block number being voted on, and total rewards distributed. One thing worth noting is the difference in block times. For Conflux Core, you'll see block times around half a second. For eSpace, it's about 1.1 seconds, more than double. This difference affects how fast transactions get confirmed on each space. The interface is mostly the same for both spaces, but keep this timing difference in mind when you're working with different parts of Conflux. You can explore latest blocks, latest transactions, information about tokens, NFTs, and much more. The Explorer provides a comprehensive view of what's happening on the network. One of ConfluxScan's key features is the ability to deploy and verify smart contracts directly from the interface. To deploy a contract, you'll need to include the bytecode and constructor arguments. You can also import a JSON file if you have one. Connect your wallet and you can deploy your smart contract right from ConfluxScan. Now, this isn't the most common way to deploy contracts. Most people use Remix or other tools like Hardhat. But it's an option, and it's good to know it exists. For contract verification, if you have a contract that's already deployed on the blockchain, you can put the contract address here and verify it. This ensures the code you see actually matches what's on the blockchain. When a contract is verified, you'll see it clearly marked. This means the code displayed matches what exists on-chain. You can review the contract name, compiler version, all the contract code, and get the contract ABI, which is important information for interacting with the contract. You can also see the constructor arguments that were used when the contract was deployed. The best part about verifying contracts is that you can interact with them directly through ConfluxScan. You can read contract functions without connecting your wallet. For example, you can check how many rewards per second a contract provides, or see other public variables and state information. You can also write to contracts, meaning you can execute functions that change the contract state. For example, you can deposit liquidity, withdraw it, use emergency withdraw functions, or harvest rewards. This is useful if a front-end has issues and you can't access it normally. You can come to ConfluxScan and interact with the contract directly without needing the original front-end. To read a contract, you don't need to connect your wallet. Just call the function and you'll get the information. For example, you can get pool information by entering a pool ID. And you'll see allocation points, last reward time, and other pool-specific details. If you want to write to the contract and send transactions, you'll need to connect your wallet. Once connected, you can deposit, withdraw, or make changes to contract variables. For each smart contract, you can see all transaction information. The methods called block numbers, transaction hashes, values, and all other relevant fields. You can also see token transfers, like when people harvest rewards or deposit liquidity. ConfluxScan also shows you the list of internal contracts available on Conflux. These include the cross-space contract we mentioned earlier, but there are many others. One important contract is the sponsor whitelist control contract. This is what you interact with when you want to sponsor gas fees for your users. This applies only to Conflux Core, not eSpace. To sponsor gas fees, you need to select the contract address you want to sponsor and deposit CFX that will be used to pay gas fees for users interacting with that smart contract. This is a unique feature of Conflux that allows developers to improve user experience by covering transaction costs. I encourage you to look into the Conflux documentation for more details on all these internal contracts and their uses. Apart from the web interface, ConfluxScan provides an open API that lets you access blockchain data programmatically. All the information displayed on the web page can be accessed through the API. There are different API endpoints for both eSpace and Core and for mainnet and testnet. There's a free version of the API, and there's also a standard version depending on your usage needs. By using this API, you can get information directly from the blockchain about accounts, contracts, transactions, blocks, tokens, NFT assets, and statistics. The API is what's used behind the scenes when you deploy or verify a smart contract through ConfluxScan. You can test the API directly from the documentation page, where you can select an endpoint, input values, and execute it to see the response. For example, you can find which contracts use the most gas during the last 24 hours. You can copy and paste the API call and use it in your browser or call it from the command line using code. The API is an important tool for the ecosystem because it's fundamental for reading what's happening on the blockchain. You can use it to check token balances, NFT balances, and integrate it into your applications. These are the API endpoints for mainnet and testnet. If the free quota isn't enough for your usage, you can apply for an API key or check the rate limits in the API documentation. ConfluxScan is an essential tool for anyone working with Conflux Network. If you're starting to develop on Conflux, get familiar with ConfluxScan. It will become one of your most used tools as you build and deploy applications on the network.